You know, we're constantly surrounded by plastic. It's everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
And lately, you hear this term bioplastics thrown around a lot, right?
Right.
As a potential solution.
Yeah, it comes up constantly.
But what does it actually mean? It feels like one of those buzzwords,
Yeah.
a bit confusing sometimes.
It really can be. Terms like plant-based, biodegradable, compostable, they all get mixed up.
Exactly.
So our goal today really is to try and clarify what we're actually talking about when someone says bioplastic.
Okay, a bit of a deep dive into the definitions.
Precisely. We've sifted through quite a bit of info, and it seems to boil down to understanding maybe 3 key ideas.
Okay, so the first one, I think you mentioned bio-based plastic. Let's unpack that. What's the core idea?
Okay, so bio-based. At its heart, it just means the plastic is made either fully or partly from renewable resources.
Renewable like plants.
Exactly, things that grow.
Uh-huh.
So corn, sugarcane, maybe vegetable oils, even algae or trees sometimes. But, and this is really important, maybe the surprising part, just because it comes from a plant, that doesn't automatically mean it's going to, break down easily.
Ah, right. So I could have a water bottle, maybe made from cornstarch or something.
Uh-huh.
It's bio-based, sounds good, sounds green, but it might just sit in a landfill for ages, like normal plastic.
That's exactly it. It could persist for a very, very long time, which naturally leads us to the second key term,
Which is?
biodegradable plastic.
Okay, biodegradable.
Huh.
What does that mean in this context?
So this refers to a plastic that can be broken down specifically by microorganisms, bacteria, fungi.
Right.
They break it down into natural stuff like water, carbon dioxide, maybe some biomass.
Okay, makes sense. It degrades biologically.
Yes, but here's where it gets kind of tricky again. Biodegradable plastics.
Mm.
They can actually be made from those renewable sources we just talked about,
Uh,
or they can be made from fossil fuels.
hold on. Fossil fuels, like oil. The same stuff in regular plastic.
Yeah.
So a plastic made from petroleum could still be labeled biodegradable.
Yeah.
It feels counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? But yeah, there are certain synthetic polymers derived from fossil fuels that are specifically engineered to degrade, usually under very particular environmental conditions, mind you.
Wow. Okay. So you could genuinely have like a biodegradable plastic bag that ultimately came from oil.
You could. It's possible.
That is a really, really important distinction then. So bio-based is about the origin where it comes from.
Correct. The source material.
And biodegradable is about the end of life, what happens to it. And they aren't the same thing at all.
Not necessarily linked. No, you can have one without the other.
Okay, got it. So bio-based, biodegradable.
Yeah.
What's the third piece of this puzzle then?
The third piece is compostable plastic.
Compostable. Okay, how's that different from just biodegradable?
Think of compostable as a subset, a very specific type of biodegradable.
Ah, okay. More specific.
Much more specific. These plastics don't just break down eventually, they have to do it under defined composting conditions.
Right, like in those big industrial composting places.
Exactly. They need certain things, a specific temperature range, the right amount of moisture, air, microorganisms found in compost, and they have to break down within a set time frame, usually pretty quickly, like a few months.
Okay.
And crucially, when they break down, they have to turn into good quality compost humus, essentially without leaving any toxic residue behind. No harmful stuff left over.
So that coffee cup lid that says compostable, the idea is it should vanish cleanly in the right facility, leaving nothing nasty.
That's the standard it needs to meet, yes.
Yeah.
It has to disintegrate and biodegrade properly and not harm the final compost.
Right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's a much higher bar than just biodegradable.
It really is. And, from an environmental perspective, the ideal, the sort of holy grail here is a plastic that is both bio-based, made from renewable resources, and properly compostable.
That hits both marks. Sustainable source, clean end of life.
Exactly. That's kind of the target scenario for a truly circular material.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the 3 core definitions down. Bio-based, biodegradable, and compostable. Now, I remember seeing in our prep that there are ways to sort of categorize bioplastics based on these ideas.
Yeah, that's right. Building on those definitions, we can group them broadly. It helps to see the landscape.
Okay, can you give us a quick overview?
Sure. So thinking about origin and end of life, you've got your bio-based plastics that are not biodegradable, things like biopeat or bio-PE, plant-derived, but they behave like regular plastic.
Right, the ones that last ages.
Then you have plastics that are both bio-based and biodegradable or compostable. This is where things like PLA, polylactic acid, often from corn, or PHA come in.
Okay, the ideal category we mentioned.
Kind of, yeah. And then, as we discussed, there's that third group, fossil-based plastics that are designed to be biodegradable. Examples there might be PCL or PBAT.
Fossil-based, but biodegradable. Still feels weird to say.
It does, but understanding these categories helps us see the different properties, the different environmental considerations for each type.
Okay, that definitely provides a clear framework. Super helpful. We've really just laid the groundwork here, haven't we? Defining what bioplastic even means when it comes up.
Exactly. It's fundamental. Before we dive into specific types or, where they come from, how they're made.
Or the pros and cons, the challenges.
Right. We needed these basic definitions sorted out first.
Definitely. Okay, well, that gives us a solid foundation.
My pleasure. It's easy to get lost in the terminology otherwise.
Absolutely. And understanding these differences is crucial as we start looking deeper, which we will do next time. We'll explore the sources, the production, the real advantages, and, let's be honest, the significant challenges too.
And the applications, where are they actually being used?
Right. But for now, hopefully this has helped you listening to maybe cut through some of that initial confusion around the term bioplastics.
We hope so.
And we'd really love to hear what you think. Did any of this surprise you? Like the fossil-based biodegradable part?
Or just your general first impressions now that we've unpacked these terms a bit. What's your take on the potential here?
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Join the conversation.